So most of you who have been with me since the start know how much I love Oricorio. Yeah, I know, I talk about the deck way too much. But today we've got Oricorio 2.0. I wouldn't call it an upgrade, more like an equally strong alternative with a totally different twist. Here's the idea. You hope to go first, drop those baby Pokemon. With the babies, you can use Magby or Pichu, or even 2 Magbys is fine because you just need that 1 energy ramp up. And you will be running electric energy, so you can attack with either one on the next turn to pump energy into your type now or Oricorio, depending on your matchup, and start swinging by turn 2. Of course, this is Pokemon Pocket. Sometimes you land in Brick City and the plan changes, but that's the core strat. You usually want to protect at least one Silvally for those final game-ending blows, while using Oricorio as your poke/wall to keep pressure up. Against EX decks, this list holds strong all game. Against non-EX, Silvally can still carry you through most matchups. I'm also running Leaf here, mainly to give me a shot at grabbing a baby if I don't start with it, but also because cards like X-Speed and Leaf I find are underrated in fast aggressive decks like these. Alright, enough talk. Let's get into some games so I can show you the deck. Alright. We are going second, so usually I like to start with Silvally going second, and that allows me to make the first attack, followed by the second attack with Silvally. It builds up nicely, especially against, I think sometimes you have to watch out for the energy that the opponent has. So if it's maybe a dark energy, but I think either way, I still like to just start with Silvally over Oricorio most of the time, at least. I think the momentum going into the game just feels so much better. And I mean, it's good that we have 2 Silvallys. Yeah, we flip ahead, so we took out the Magby, which was nice, and we could potentially I think what I do next is I actually use the Giovanni to yeah, I believe we use Giovanni here because I wanted to start building up the Oricorio, considering that we are facing up against 2 EXs. I think the Reggie isn't too big of a threat right now, because even if Reggie comes up, it does 50 damage, which does not take out Oricorio. So I think I took a while to think here, but I believe I just, let's see. Yeah, so I believe I just used the Giovanni. I think it's fine to kind of go with especially because, okay, Lugia had the lightning energy the next turn, so I did not want to be in a position where I get knocked out, my Silvally gets knocked out and I am stuck with no energies. So that's why I decided to, do it this way. Okay, so there's a Komala in this deck, which is kind of weird because, like, why is he running Komala plus Regigigas? Like, you only kind of need 1 Oricorio counter, but I'm not sure if it works. It works, I guess, for him. Here, I didn't want to take damage on my Silvally, and neither the Regigigas or Komala has energy right now, so I'm still kind of in a decent spot. That's why I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna come up Ori and do some damage. So over here, they have loaded Komala, which means that on the next turn, there's a chance that Komala comes up. But we are fine because we have Silvally ready on the bench. Plus, we do have Cyrus So that gives us the opportunity to pull Ho-Oh back in for the KO. So Oricorio goes down this turn. We come in with Silvally to take out Komala. Oh wait, I think... What happens here? Let me think. Okay, because I forgot. Yeah, we already have 2 points, so we just need the whole. Okay. I was wondering. Okay, I thought I had 0 points. But yeah. Okay, here we start with Pichu. So I think that actually, you know, what's that? The previous deck with Oricorio and Zera Aura is, I think it's how do I put it? I think it might be a stronger deck than this. That's how I felt with using the babies. At least I felt like, you know, the advantage you kind of get. I mean, it feels like similar odds, right? Whether you draw a Pichu / Magby, whether you draw a baby, or you get into Zera Aura with the Dawn. Obviously, you need less cards to make this work compared to, meaning that with the Zera Aura version, you need Zera Aura, you need Dawn, and followed by whatever active, right? Here you just need the baby. So that makes it a bit more consistent, but I feel like Zera Aura wasn't just an energy generator. It was also an attacker that did 50 damage, and it could do 50 damage on turn 1, right? I mean, after turn 1, you take a small hit, 20 to 30, you know, in the start, and then you just come out with, and then you attack first with Zera Aura. I think that was kind of nice. So I don't know. I personally prefer the Zera Aura version, but I mean, this was fun too. So yeah, that was a weird game. I know I kind of skipped most of that game, but let me just go back a bit and pause here. No, so they do evolve. So yeah, kind of weird because the opponent got into everything. And the Sylveon here, I believe, and they left the game. So I mean, I guess it becomes iffy now if I deal the 100 damage to the Sylveon, and then but I mean, the opponent still had a good chance to win, honestly. Alright, so we're facing a lot of EV decks. Especially, it's mostly Espeon EX, which our deck does okay against, because we have Oricorio, and Espeon doesn't have a way to kind of play around Oricorio too much. Oh yeah, they do. Okay, they do have run. I think nowadays most of the decks, they run Espeon non-EX and Sylveon non-EX, so they do have ways to get around. But it kind of forces them to play you know, it forces them to move their Pokemons around a bit more. So here they get into Espeon, which is never a good thing for us, really. Plus the Sabrina, which slows us down. So we run a leaf here in this deck, but I mean, we only run one, so the chances of getting it is low. So anyway, we run, we do the same thing back, right? We just Sabrina away the evolution or EV with the energy. So red card kind of hurts there, but thankfully we draw Gladion. At this point, I feel there's not much point in putting the Magby down. I'm not sure if I do put it down, but I might put one down, really. But I don't think there's much of a point, considering we have enough energy, and if we do draw an Oricorio, we can just load to that Oricorio the next energy. So We don't actually need any more energy ramping at this point. The only reason to really put down the the babies was to kind of get away from a Mars play. But I think right now I'm not in Mars or red card range, so you know, with 3 cards, I don't think I need to kind of force putting down the baby. Putting the babies down. Yeah, so here I think I'm just like, you know, I'm not getting my Ori right now, so I'm just gonna put down stuff. Okay, so why I did not put down the energy is because of the Espeon in the back. It's a threat, and I don't need any energy, so there's no reason to kind of give the Espeon more firepower. Okay, so here here for 2 things. Since we have life, we can put the Pichu in the active. Secondly, I always secondly, this is what you can do, is always just put the Pichu out, regardless of you know, what you want to play next. If you wanted to play Silvally, example, in the last turn, just put the Pichu out, because you still have the chance to retreat into whatever. And in this case, we drew Oricorio, so we are forcing them to come out with okay, firstly we will take no damage that turn, and then secondly we are forcing them to come out with Espeon, right? And okay, so now we are in more or less range of the Espeon, because we have 3 energies plus they most likely have an EV bag, right? So yeah, but at least, you know, in the last turn we had the option to, we didn't have to give up one life in terms of the Pichu. We just put it up and we retreat on the next turn, deciding what we need to do. So here we need to get into what's that, Guzma to win, and we top deck it. So yeah, I mean, this against the Espeon deck, I would say it's quite an even matchup. It's not like you get much of an advantage, I feel, if the player knows how to play the deck well. So when I was playing Evian, the Espeon decks, I realized that, you know, I have to, if there's the threat of a Silvally coming out on the second turn, I have to build my bench. Yeah, I need to see that again. Yeah, so I'm not sure what happened here. I guess the opponent just insta-conceded on Oricorio, which happens, you know, quite often, especially with Oricorio Silvally. It happens quite often. Okay, here we don't get a great start, because ideally you want to start with a baby, and we did have leaf. So it would have been nice to have the baby in hand to you know, start ramping up, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, a baby wouldn't be, would it be? Let me think. I mean, a baby here is still okay. Yeah, okay. Because you kind of sacrifice the baby for damage, and you... So here I kind well, I kind of forgot that Magby only loads to the basics, to a basic. So, but it doesn't really matter. It might have been a better choice to just load the type now instead of the Silvally, because Silvally could have been Cyrus here, and then I might lose 1 energy. So actually the right play, I feel, was this, right? To put the double energy on the time now, since I have Silvally in hand. But it's also good, alright, to put the split the energies, because you could get carded, you could get masked. You never know, people do weird things a lot of the time in this game. So if you do get carded and my Silvally goes out of hand, I'm kind of screwed at that point. So, you know, it's fine. It's fine to have split the energy. Okay, here I definitely mask, because my opponent has 6 cards, which we get, you know, 3 out of their hand, which is definitely worth the mask. So we're quite comfortable right now because even if they Cyrus up the Silvally on the bench, we basically have 2 active Silvallis ready to attack either the next turn for sure. And him, I guess because I know Oricorio is on the board, you know, he's willing to sacrifice the Espeon, which I find kind of, I don't know, find kind of weird, but you know. Okay, so there I use the Guzma because, I mean, they might have another cape, but my reason in general is because Guzma is conditional, that, you know, you need your opponent to have a cape or whatever to be used. So I was just like, you know, I'd rather use that and kind of keep Giovanni for a situation where I might want the 10 damage. Again, either is fine, really. So, but I think for a while I have not played Guzma with my Oricorio decks because it's conditional. Means sometimes you just need, you know, like I have no cards in hand right now, but then sometimes you have just 1 card in hand and it's a Guzma, but the opponent does not have cape, so it kind of puts you in that weird situation. But I think with this deck, because we are running you know, babies and stuff, and currently the capes, I mean the tools are kind of crazy. Like you have Dark Pendant, you have a lot of stuff, so I think Guzma, I mean Guzma is still really strong right now. Okay, so here I think I semi-misplayed in that I should have just retreated the Pichu and attacked with Time Now. But I don't think this is too bad either because it allows me to start building up my next Pokemon this turn. And so yeah, so right now we already have 2 kind of, I mean we need to get Silvally, but we kind of have 2 Silvallis active. And so, yeah, second game I'm not getting Oricorio, but you know, it's fine. We don't need Oricorio in this matchup at least. So the opponent had no choice but to put down the Slugma on its bench because the threat of Silvally taking it out this turn was there. Yeah, so here I retreat because I am forcing them to have a Makago, and plus I don't need the energy. I mean, I have kind of excess energy at this point. So forcing him to have what's that? A Cyrus to take out at least 1 point. I think they do have the Cyrus. Let's see. Oh wait, but there's no point. Okay, that doesn't matter because he just evolved. So yeah, I think I kind of misplayed here. I wasn't paying too much attention. I should have just put the Pichu up because it's a free retreat. But I think over here it doesn't matter too much because at the end of the day, I'm just going to take out this Makago. Yeah, here I kind of BM'd using Mars to give him the 3 cards, but you know, I'm going to take Makago out anyway. Okay, Skarmory is never good against baby decks. Even with Tyrogue and you see a Skarmory, you're kind of screwed. Good thing if you don't see much Skarmories nowadays, right? So, but if anything, Skarmory is back into meta if you ask me. So here it's kind of the perfect example of why you want a Pichu start. We're going first, so we can't load the energy, but we do get the energy, and we put a threat with a Silvally coming up on the next turn, but we don't have Silvally yet, so that sucks. And professoring into Gladion would be nice. But I think here we don't exactly have much of a choice, right? We just throw up the Silvally and hope the Time Now and hope we get a Silvally, which we do. Let's see, what do I use? Okay, yeah, I use Professor, so yeah, that was fine. And Guzma might come in handy later because this deck's probably going to be running 4 tools. So you want to save at this point. I think I give up the Oricorio. I put up the Oricorio because if it evolves into a Silvally, it's GG. I mean, well, no, if it evolves into the so Galileo, we don't take damage. Well, they don't have energy as well, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so here we're going against EV box, a Psychic EV box. Again, it's an even matchup in my opinion. In my opinion, meaning I generally go like 50-50 against it. It's not like a straight up winner or anything, which is fine. I mean, so that's in a deck. You know, you're gonna always get a deck in general that you're always gonna lose to, then a deck that you just straight up win all the time, and then you know the in between. So most of the decks will be the in betweens. And well, this is one of them. So here we start first. We go second. So we load our energy, and we don't need any babies. So I just load the whole bench up, and that allows us most likely to draw. Use our professor on the next turn. When I say use the professor, I mean safely, without. Well, okay, but we go Giovanni, take out the EV, but when I mean safely in that we don't get into outside of red card or Mars range, and I think that's an important kind of thing in the current metas, is that because everybody's going to be running at least a Mars, if not a red card. Well, not everybody, but you know, majority of decks. So you kind of wanna, if you can, keep your hand within the range. If you can't, it's fine too. I mean, that's what it is, right? But like, I think in general, don't force it if you think it's going to be detrimental to your end game. But if it's not going to hurt you too much, you know, keep your hand within the range. So here, Oricorio is going to go down, which is, yeah, I think it's not too good, because there's a chance that they get into the Sylveon non-EX, and that's going to be a threat for us. Okay, but I don't know why they left, because it was definitely far from over in my opinion, because they could still hope to get into that Sylveon EX. Normally when they run the Espeon, they have this Sylveon, but maybe he just runs Espeon, who knows, you know. That's my guess for leaving, you know, because after taking out the Oricorio there, I'm definitely taking out the Espeon. So here it looks like maybe the Leafeon Flareon box. Still strong, still a very strong deck. And they normally run Leafeon non-EX to deal with our Oricorio, which can be quite fast, especially if they draw into Leafeon EX and Leafeon. So here, oh yeah, so this is, again, I could have come out to attack, but I think I don't really like, I don't mind sacrificing Magby to like to attack. But I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe that's not the right play. Yeah, but so we get a good trade. We start off well. We take out, we give up the baby, but we take an EX. So here, I'm hoping that he does not draw. Okay, well, actually it does not matter. Yeah, because I'm gonna just Sabrina and take out one of the basics in the back. I think most of the time for this deck, you just have to watch out for Flareon, or well, any EV on the bench with an energy that could be a Flareon, because that is the main threat. And I think in the last round I knew that, you know, there was no Flareon threat this turn, so I was kind of like, whatever happens, it does not really, you know, bother me too much. That's all for this deck. I think that this was an, I think it's a nice version of Oricorio, but I don't know, I just didn't feel. Okay, I definitely had to make this video because I always rave about Oricorio, right? And I had to test this for sure, you know, I couldn't not test this and make a video on it. So it's a strong deck, don't get me wrong, it's still really strong deck. I think definitely enough to climb. So if you're not sure what to climb with, this definitely is climb worthy. I just think that I still prefer I think I still prefer Silvally Aura with Oricorio and Silvally, just because of the options of using the options of using Silvally Aura, because Silvally Aura, it has 90 health, which is not a lot, but it's good for a lot of situations, especially with SP on EXs, and especially with a lot of the 70 and 80 damage dealers in the meta at the moment. And if you think about it, even against Crobat, we can tank one Crobat hit without a Nihilego. So there are situations where it becomes, you still have a chance of being useful. If I were to rate them, I would just rate them about the same. I think basically I think there was just no advantage bump with babies, if anything, for this particular style of deck. Yeah, so definitely do play it if you have the babies. If not, even if you play the Zera or Oricorio one, that's fine too. You're not gonna, I don't think, like, percentage wise, I'm sure that there's some percentage difference and all that stuff, but in terms of really like what you really face in terms of the gameplay, I don't think you're gonna face too much of a difference. Like at most, one game here or there kind of plus minus in terms of probability. But I mean, probability only means so much because it just matters sometimes whether you get brick or not get brick, right? So yeah. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.